We've all experienced it, right? You place an order, you insert your credit or your debit card, but before you get the service that you are about to pay for, you're asked, hey, how much would you like to tip?
Yeah, do you reward service that hasn't happened yet, or does waiting until the job's done jeopardize the quality of service? That's the question we asked KSL consumer investigator Matt Gephardt to look into.
Look at this. This is one of the hot spots.
Dave Sawyer has a side hustle.
And that little blue dot shows where you're going.
He delivers food for DoorDash and Uber Eats.
A fizz coming up right here.
And boy, oh boy, does Dave think fondly on folks who throw him a little something extra to say thank you for the effort.
I was like, wow.
Though if Dave's being honest, it's not the generosity that he really remembers as much as it is the times that he's been under-tipped.
I get mad. I go, why do I even do that order?
It's just horrifying to find out that you're going to be losing money delivering this order.
Heather Myers also drives for DoorDash.
0 tip. I was pretty much working for charity.
She says she has been under-tipped or no-tipped so many times that she's learned to be very selective about which orders she even accepts.
You want to know what you're getting before you go very far.
DoorDash actually encourages drivers to be selective. They recently launched a program that nudges customers to be better tippers. DoorDash has begun warning customers in the event that a consumer chooses to not leave a tip, their order may take longer as a result. And for their drivers, they've said they can accept or reject offers based on if they think they're valuable and rewarding. Since launching this test, DoorDash says they have seen a meaningful decrease in no-tip orders. This is the latest example in what has become a country that is tipping a bit more towards pre-tipping for service, says Ted Rossman of Bankrate.
There are different motivations for tipping.
Yeah, tipping historically has been used to reward good service or as a motivator to ensure good service. In the past few years, that has shifted.
Sometimes we tip because it's expected and it's part of that social contract.
The limits of that social contract are being tested. We've all seen the iPads asking for 10, 20, even 30% before any service has been done, or sometimes no service at all.
I've been asked to tip at a self-checkout machine at an airport.
Which accounts for why around 2/3 of Americans now have a negative view on tipping, and about 30% think that tipping culture has gotten out of control.
How are you?
Now, many restaurants and other establishments have insisted that pre-tipping will not impact your service. Now, others like DoorDash are saying, yeah, it sure will.
You know, it's interesting, that sort of transparency.
When you think about it, tipping in advance is not entirely new. People who are going to be in one place for a long time, like at a hotel, by a resort pool, or at a bar, have been known to grease the palms of their server or bartender as sort of a bribe, hoping to curry good favor going forward. And maybe you've been a little extra generous at the end of a meal when you know you're going to be back and you're trying to bank a little goodwill and future good service.
Most time when you're coming back after you deliver, you'll get another order.
As for critics who might argue that people who've already been tipped lose the motivation to work hard and try to earn a tip, the gig workers to whom I spoke say the opposite is true.
You've already gotten the money. Does it change your motivation to hustle?
Not at all. I'm a good worker, and I'm going to work for that money.
And you pre-tip me, you give me that money, I'm going to work my tail off to get you that and get you the best service.
So the survey in that story said about 2/3 of people have a negative view on tipping. We conducted our own unscientific survey today on social media asking for opinions on pre-tipping versus tipping after service. We did not get a single comment in favor of tipping in advance. Guys?
No surprise.
No. And I've had a couple instances where I've done the pre-tip and I paid them the 20% before I got my food. And then afterwards, the order was all messed up a couple of times. And what do you do at that point, right? You can't take it back and say, you know what, your service wasn't great, so I'm going to take that money back.
Some apps will allow you to go in and adjust. They encourage you to go in and tip more afterwards. Of course, they'd prefer than you taking some away. But yeah, some will allow you adjust a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, you've definitely tapped into something that a lot of people are feeling.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep.